Welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. My name is Travis Jones, and I'm here with Jason Barrett for another week, another episode of getting you to become the best version of you with your health and fitness mindset, lifestyle, so you can show up as the best version of yourself for yourself and your family. Jason, how are you today, mate?
I am working towards being my best self every day, even when my patience with parenting two kids hits its limits among everything else. But you know what? All I can say is I'm doing my best. And you know what? That's probably a decent mantra for every dad out there to remind yourself of. Is, I'm doing my best. If you're not doing your best, well, let's help you get to your best today. How are you going, Trav?
No, I'm pretty good, man. I think, to be honest, doing your best is a lot easier when you're not carrying around an extra 30 kilos of weight, right? You know, if you right now were 110 J's and your energy was zapped and you still had to try and, you know, do everything you're trying to do, I'm sure it'd actually probably be a bit harder. And, you know, that sort of looks into... It would be, mate. But that's what we're going to talk about today is like the 5 biggest reasons why dads fail with losing weight. And we want to help you overcome those 5 reasons. So even when the life is tough and hectic, and there's not a day that life's not full on, you know, when you have children. There is always something going on. You might go, oh, no, life is full on. I've got literally kids' sports every night of the week, Monday to Friday, right? And then you're running businesses, you're trying to manage emotions, there's late nights, there's early mornings. We're trying to do training for the kids before they go to school because they're trying to get better at soccer. So there's morning training at home, there's nighttime swimming and futsal, and we're driving from where we live an hour one way and they're doing training for an hour and a half at night and then driving an hour back. And it's like, it is busy. And unless you have a schedule in place, you were definitely going to fall off the deep end with your health and fitness. And, you know, a lot of people say they don't have time. And you know what? Let's get into how to create that time today and how to overcome the reasons that you fail. And I think the biggest reason that most people fail with their long-term health and fitness is everyone's chasing the quick fix, the quick buck, the quick weight loss. And no one wants sustainable habits. You know, I find it funny there's that quote from James Clear. It's like everyone at the start of a 100-meter race all have the same goal, right? And that's to win the 100-meter race, except there's only ever one winner. Now, the winner is the guy that had the best habits leading up to it. Yeah, some of it's genetics and all the rest of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, the most consistent and sustainable habits down pat that over time and consistency made him one of the best in that specific race. And like everyone who's starting to lose weight all has the same goal, to lose that weight. Then why do only 4% of people, 96% fail? Like that's an alarming stat. 96% of people who embark on a weight loss journey fail. And that's because these 5 reasons we're going to talk today. And most of the time, it's because of quick fixes. You want to do a man shake, you want to do keto because you want to do carnivore because, you know, I was talking to someone the other day. He's like, oh, my doctor said carnivore is the best thing for me because he's had good weight loss with it. It's like, why? Did you do your blood work? Have you got an inflammatory response? Is there something wrong that you need to? No, he says it's best for weight loss. I was like, no. What's best for weight loss is a calorie deficit and getting some strength training and probably doing some cardiovascular training for your heart health and doing that for a consistent period of time with a structured program and someone keeping you accountable to not doing dumb shit. That's probably what's best.
That's boring,
yeah, exactly. You could just eat steaks and bacon. Like, yeah, when we're looking at guys, don't chase the quick fix, right? Like, what's the stat as far as people who win the lotto who are broke? It's like 90% or 99% are broke within 2 years from winning the lotto. You know that stat, Jace. You're a stats man.
I've got it up there somewhere. But yeah, it's like 95% of people who, I think it's almost like all of them. I don't know if there's been any people that have won a jackpot of a lotto and actually maintained it, kept it after 2 years, because you're like the level of who you are hasn't risen to, like, you're not a millionaire in your mind. So you have $1 million. You're like, I'm going to buy a fucking boat and I'm going to buy a mansion where the fucking rates are going to be more expensive than my mortgage is currently. And then it's like, well, geez, no wonder you fucking gone broke in 2 years. I've already allocated. I'm going to give 50 grand to this person. I'm going to give 100 grand to this person. It's like, mate, you haven't even got 10 grand to rub together. Why are you fucking talking about giving it all away at this point? So Same thing as you said with weight loss. Most people, when they lose it, they don't keep it off because it was this quick, I'm going to do F45 7 times a week. That's not fucking sustainable.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like the sustainable habits of creating wealth, exactly the same. And all of a sudden overnight you do a quick fix and you win the lotto. Then you don't have the sustainable habits that got you there. So you default into previous spending habits, which cause you to be broke. And then, except now you have a surplus of cash to do it faster and put yourself further in debt. But it's the same when we look at fast, quick fixes that are also unsustainable. Keto diets, I'm not bashing diets, guys, but I am bashing not being sustainable because I'm sick and tired of people doing stuff that I'll just do it for 4 weeks. But then what are you going to do? I don't know. I was like, well, do you know how many calories you're going to be eating? I don't know. Well, what are you going to, I'll keep training. But how are you going to eat? I don't know. I'll slowly introduce carbs back. How many carbs? I don't know. I was like, well, okay. So what you're saying is you're going to follow something that's going to try and get you a fast result, and you have no idea how to transition back into normal eating afterwards. So you have no idea of sustainable habits because your nutrition IQ or your nutrition education didn't increase at all, except for the fact that you think carbs are bad, or except for the fact that you think I must eat red meat. So what we actually have to do is give you an education around nutrition so you can have more, intuitive eating. And I think that's the biggest thing. After the guys train with us for like 6 months, 9 months, some of us 12 months or 2 years down the track, and they're still coaching with us because they just have new goals and bigger goals. But what happens is they can look at a meal and they can understand the calories, even without weighing it. After a period of time, you can go, that's about 500 calories. And once you achieve your goal, you don't have to be as anal and disciplined about it anymore because you have an understanding of calories. And if you need to dial it in a little bit with your fat loss, well, you can because you know how to dial it in. But maintaining it once you get there and sustaining it, you have these base habits. I eat protein with my meals first because it keeps me fuller. I limit carbohydrates slightly around my training times because I know I need them to fuel my performance. I don't binge drink on the weekends because I know I wake up and I can't parent and I feel like shit. I wake up and I do some steps because it helps me kickstart my day. I train 3 times a week and I lift weights because I like feeling strong and the endorphins. And you have this structure across your week because the trajectory you're on. It's like the other quote is like, be far more concerned with your current trajectory than your current results. And I think that comes down to quick fixes as well. Everyone's, look, I lost 5 kilos this month. Yeah, but you've lost the same 5 kilos 17 times across the last 5 years. You just lose the 5 kilos and you put it back on. And you do the next diet, you lose the 5 kilos, you put it back on. I was listening to a sales call the other day, and this guy said, I've lost 9 kilos the last couple of times I did keto, so I think I'm just going to do keto again. I was like, you literally have lost the same 9 kilos. Like you've never lost the 9 kilos. You're just transitioning it on and off your body, further making you not have good relationship with food or whatsoever. So we have to, if we want sustainable long-term fixes, do something you can stick to. And at the start, if it's 6,000 steps a day, cool. Let's do 6,000 steps a day. If it's training for 2% of your day, 3 times a week, which is 28 minutes, let's do that. It doesn't have to be the hardest thing. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing. It has to be something, because something is better than no thing. I think that is the biggest thing. I'm so frustrated with people who want a quick fix on a problem that they caused over 10 years, right? You didn't get a quick fix of weight gain, so don't get a quick fix of weight loss, right? Suck it up. Go, this is going to be hard. And it's like, yeah, man, it's going to be hard. You know why? Because you're trying to change your fucking life. Changing your life is literally hard, Jace.
Yeah, this is the thing. And there are a lot of people who say, if it was convenient, I want it. I talked about this a little bit last week in the little episode I did around, can you do this forever, right? If you can't do it forever, don't even start, because there's no point, because you're looking to, exactly as you said, you're looking to change your life. You're looking to make a big, drastic life change. And if you're not willing to keep it up, don't even bother. But you've got to remember, like a lot of people, if you could just take a magic pill and have all the energy and fitness and health and money in the world, yeah, of course, I would take that pill. But a lot of people aren't willing, and they haven't associated the work I need to do in order to get the result. Oh, that's not worth it. right? And that's what a lot of people haven't made that link yet, because they don't realize, oh shit, if I do that work, I'll have that result. Is that result something that you want bad enough? And so before you look for a quick fix, and before you look at, oh, but all this other stuff seems a lot harder and a lot more work, do what Trav said. Go have these quick fixes, any of these other diets, this, this thing, this bad relationship I keep getting back into, the cheating ex I keep getting back with, keto, who helps me lose the weight, and then I put it all back on again because it's not healthy, because I don't know how to balance myself afterwards. If you keep doing that, if you keep doing the same things you've always done, you're going to keep getting the same results. So when you are struggling with your diet, you've got to consider, what is the end outcome that I want, and how important is that to me? How important is that end result for me? How, like, being there for my kids, being a role model, being a dad that has energy, that can run around and play with them and all that kind of stuff. How important is that to me? Is it worth, 6 months of, having, shortcut bacon and egg muffins in the morning, and a chicken salad sandwich with a bit of cheese and tomato and lettuce and seasoning, as lunch, and having some lean mince in your spaghetti instead of fatty mince, and cutting your portions down to half of a massive bowl instead of a whole massive bowl of spaghetti with fucking 15 pounds of cheese on it? Is that worth it? Right? Is that extra bar of chocolate that you have in the evening, is that worth you not losing this weight? Is that worth you not having the energy? That is literally the comparison you need to make. That extra 20 minutes of you sleeping in as opposed to going for a walk in the morning. Like, those are the little things that actually get you the result that people are refusing to do because they don't really look at the big picture, right? This is the problem with the fad diets and the short term. They get caught up in whatever's going on. Oh, I really want to lose this weight in the next 5 weeks. Look at the bigger picture. If in 2 years' time you could be the best version of yourself, would you start doing that shit today to make it happen? But 2 years for some people is just too long of a time horizon. But as you said, it took you 10 years to get here. Take 2 years getting out is not too bad, because the 2 years is going to pass anyway.
Exactly, mate. And I think the next thing is, the reason why people fail is they need something to be perfect. They want this perfect action, right? Instead of consistency. When we look at it, it's like imperfect action is better than perfect inaction every day of the week, right? Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So doing something, not 100%, but at least you're doing it, you're in motion, is better than just like looking at the piece of paper of the best program or the best meal plan. Now for myself, like, I am on a 6-week challenge with my gym at the moment and getting shredded as best as I can. I wanted to get back down to, on an in-body scan, like 8%, right? And I was seeing, I think, at 12.5%. I'm at just under 10% yesterday. So I'm halfway through the challenge and halfway to the goal. Now for me, I don't weigh my food anymore. I've chosen to do this slightly different. And because I've done it so many times, right? Yeah. And again, this sort of comes back to me knowing what I can eat and what I can't eat when I'm dieting and when I'm training, because I've done it I've been a PT for 20 plus years now, a long time. So I understand calories and I understand how much I'm eating. And to be honest, what I do is I make sure that I get somewhere between 18 to 20,000 steps a day. And that might seem a lot for a lot of people out there, but I'm still coaching a bit in the gym, and coaching gets me 8,000 steps. I'll run 6Ks a day normally, every day, just because I like to run and it gives me a bit of a switch off for half hour. That will give me an extra 6,000 steps. So I'm already sitting around 14,000 steps, and I'll walk for about 4,000 steps. So hitting 18 to 20,000 steps a day for me, not hard at all. But when I'm trying to diet, I make sure I get my extra 4,000 to 6,000 steps in. Literally the difference. And that's a big calorie burn for me. When I'm dieting, I cut out breakfast. All right. That's the only thing I do. I have 2 meals a day instead of 3. And at dinner time, instead of having 2 portions of dinner, because I like to eat, I have 1 portion, right? This is literally my diet. I have 1 portion of dinner, so I don't overeat at dinner time. I cut out breakfast, so automatically I'm cutting out about 600, 700 calories a day. Again, it's like hard and fast cut for me. And I increase my steps by 6,000. I weight train like twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, right? Because I choose to run most days and I just don't want to lose muscle mass, right? I'm genetically blessed to hold muscle. And I think, unlike Jason, I am the opposite.
I should be the runner, to be honest. I am not genetically best to grow muscle. I have long muscle bellies that do not get peaked, unfortunately.
But like for me, like when I'm looking at it, this is the most like imperfect action. Like my like it's. But I know that I'm like I weigh myself daily. And I'm like, okay, yep, I'm heading in the right direction. I'm losing about, 100 grams a day if I average it out across the week. So I lose about 700 grams a week. Over the 6 weeks, I lose about 3.5 to 4 kilos, right? And I'm doing it small increase in my steps. And I just use my my trusty walking pad instead of sitting down on the computer. And that's how I get my extra 4,000 to 6,000 steps in. So I'm not adding more things into my day. And I just don't eat breakfast and I have a black coffee and I eat one portion of dinner instead of 2. And that automatically creates my calorie deficit to get me the result that I'm after. And I don't have to literally change anything else in my life. I just eat less food in the morning and at night. And this is sustainable. I know for me, I was eating approximately calorie maintenance before. So when I shift back out of this, instead of having like a 700 calorie breakfast with oats and peanut butter, I'll probably have some oats and some raspberries and some yogurt, and it'll be like 400 calories. And then I'll have probably 1.5 portions of dinner, and I'll phase it back up. But I don't specifically have to track every detail because I didn't want to do it this time. And I knew I could do it this other way. And then I can only do it this way because I've done it the other way so many times, right? And I think that's a key thing. So all of us out there, and the same as the guys that we coach in our 14-day challenge, we just tell them not to be assholes at dinner time, right? It's like, how about you start eating like an adult for dinner? Just eat like an adult, like not like a child. You don't get everything you want and have one portion of it. So eat like an adult for dinner and do these 2 things for breakfast and lunch. Like do that. Okay, and then do these workouts that are easy to get started because you weren't doing any workout. So doing this easy workout is better than no workout. And let's just start getting 10,000 steps a day, right? Again, not perfect action. It's imperfect action, but it's actually action. So it will get you the result to get going. And then we can fine tune it further when you need to, okay? Not beforehand. And I think that's a crucial distinction which actually holds people back.
Yeah, I was actually just chatting to a guy who was inquiring to come on board with us, and he did that exact thing where he started out and he was like, I'm just going to start with, because the nutrition side for him, it was too much. He didn't know if the calories he was on was right, and he's like, oh, well, I've got all this information, but now, like, what do I actually do with it? Is it right? Is it not right? How many calories should I be eating? So it all became a bit overwhelming for him, so he just stopped doing that. And he's like, I'm going to take the action that I know is going to get me a result, which is I'm going to start sleeping a bit better, get off my phone at night. I'm going to start moving more and training more. And those are the main things I'm going to focus on. I'm just going to go for 2 runs a week because he wanted to start to get towards a marathon, a half marathon. So I'm just going to start doing that. That's what I'm going to focus on. And now that he's got those in a bit more of a consistent rhythm, then he's come to us and he's like, cool, I want to dial in my running plan. I want to dial in my nutrition now. And I want to sort of handball that to someone else who can then teach me about it. And so I understand a bit more. So that's what you want to do, is you want to focus on what you can do right now to start moving forward. And you need to be a bit self-critical and self-reflective and go, am I the kind of person who can actually make this change like immediately by myself and go and stick to it? Or have I been in the past the kind of person who doesn't do that, the kind of person who gets a plan and then just sits there and stares at it, right? So you've got to realize, cool, if I'm not going to go online and buy, this is my $2,000 training program that I used to get Chris Hemsworth his abs or whatever. Cool, you can fucking have a look at that. Oh, I've got to buy a dumbbell. Oh, I might as well scroll on Marketplace. Oh, that's a cool looking boat. I'm going to go fucking talk to that guy, and then you're off and you're distracted. So making sure that you have something that you can start to do, that you do actually do, and you don't beat yourself up if it's not perfect. You don't beat yourself up if it's not 100% right. This is the epitome of something is better than nothing. So get started with something. This is kind of the solution to perfectionism, or waiting for things to be perfect, is just getting started with something. Just doing something is the best thing that you can do, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's half an hour, whether it's making one slightly better choice. That is all you need to do.
Yeah, man. And don't get me wrong, right? Like, I don't want anyone to confuse the fact with what I'm doing, something they should be doing, right? Because I understand that, my steps and my training might be different, right? Like I'm built for strength and I run a lot. I haven't deadlifted in nearly a year and I can pull 200 kilos in a Metcon the other week, right? Like it's just how I'm built.
Built different.
I'm just built different. But at the same time, I track my weight daily with this challenge, and this is moving to the next part, going along without, instead of doing it without coaching. I'm structured because I have accountability from like 100 guys in my gym who are doing it, and girls. So I'm like, I've got my photos, I'm doing my weight, I've got a 6-week challenge, so it keeps me structured. Now, if I didn't keep losing weight, Jace, I would dial it in. I'd be like, okay, now I'm going to weigh my food. Now I'm going to make sure I hit my protein goal. Now I'm going to make sure that I'm doing the stuff specifically, because I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment because this something is better than what I was doing. And now if it doesn't keep getting me the result that I'm after, then I dial it in further. But I only dial it in further when I need to dial it in further. Because if not, then I'm giving energy to something that I don't want to give as much energy to. Right. But if I need to, I'm like, okay, I'll track my calories. Okay, I'll track my protein. Okay, I'll focus more on my sleep or whatever it is I need to focus more on. But I don't need to do that at the moment because I'm getting my results. And I also, this is going to be 6 weeks because I've got this coaching and accountability. One, I got coaching from my wife, and if I eat something, she'd be like, yeah, you're doing a 6-week challenge, man. Like, do you want that? And I'll be like, oh, sure. No, I don't. So I've got the accountability in my house from Liv, which is honestly, when you're doing it with your partner, 10 times easier. And hats off to the guys who aren't doing it with their partners out there. You can do it, and that's why you also need a coaching, because you need someone in your corner. I'm lucky enough to have Liv in my corner for this. But you need accountability from a group, from a coach, from someone who's going to go, one, are you getting the results you're after, right? Because I do my scan every week. And if my scan's off, then I'll talk to Liv about it. I was like, fuck, I do need to dial it in. I need you to keep me accountable to do X, Y, Z over the next week. And this is what you need. This is what everyone needs. And also, if you don't have the education and you're like, fuck, my weight's the same, what do I do? I don't know. Go more keto? Eat more fat? Like, I don't know how you do that. It's like, what do you do? Do you have a stick of butter instead of a tablespoon? Like, I'm not sure. I have no idea. Do you eat just an extra bacon and it makes more fat, more weight loss? I'm not sure, but
you have to look at the sun for 10 minutes a day to get the activation in there, and then drink salt water with a lemon in the morning, and that'll do.
And that's what does it. Have some apple cider vinegar before your meals, and then do a liver detox because your liver's not detoxifying. But I think, like, for everyone out there, having coaching and accountability works in 2 ways. One, being accountable to someone, and being accountable to someone you maybe respect as well. And like a lot of them go, oh, no, I'll get my wife to keep me accountable. Have you ever listened to your wife with anything before? And do you really want to bring that argument at home when she says not to have the beer? And you're like, fuck, it's been a hard day. She's like, you told me to keep you accountable. And then all of a sudden you have a fight with your wife because she's telling you not to have the beers because you told her not to, but then you really want a beer. It's like, no, have that argument with your coach. And like, you don't need your wife to be your coach.
No. But also, your wife is going to be the one that when you have lost, a bit of weight and you've got like maybe 5 more kilos, 6 more kilos to lose, she's going to have, you're looking too skinny. You should really stop. Right. And it's going to bring up their own insecurities and stuff. So yes, unless if you're both on a challenge together, awesome. That does help with, you're both moving forward. But make sure you have something external, someone who could be a bit more objective, and also someone who knows, someone who's knowledgeable enough to go, this is where you're falling off. As Trav's saying, like having someone to go, okay, cool, here's some tweaks you can make. Stop having a handful of fucking cashews as your nighttime snack, right? Have a rice cake, have a corn thin, right? Have 2 of those with some Vegemite on it. All right, cool, they're done. That'll be infinitely less calories than a handful of dry, salted, roasted cashews, which, yes, are delicious. There's a fucking reason they're delicious, right? These things don't not have consequences. So, have someone who's knowledgeable enough to go, cool, if you trade out a tablespoon of peanut butter in there, you can, have 200 calories less in your breakfast. If you stop having milky coffees and a biscuit with them every 2 times a day, you can have either a bigger dinner or you're going to be in more of a deficit. Like, you need people who are knowledgeable enough to hold you accountable, but also go, this is all you need to do to start to get a result. And it'll often be a lot easier than you actually think it is.
Mate, 100%. I was talking to one of my guys the other day and he said, I was just having a snack after dinner. I was like, a handful of almonds or cashews here or there. I was like, mate, Like that's like going to be like 250, 300 calories, right?
Yeah.
Like depends on how big your handful is. Your hands are big, right? And if you're having like, just a couple of handfuls of nuts to keep me going. So man, it's like 300 calories. It's like 2,100 calories a week. That's the difference between a kilo a month of weight loss because you had a couple of, it's like, how about you have a paddle pop after dinner, which is like 79 calories, and you just cut a third of the calories out and you had something that actually tastes good rather than some fucking cashews at nighttime, right? Have a paddle pop after dinner and you'll enjoy it. And it'll be nice because it's summer pretty much everywhere in Australia because Tasmania is hot right now. So it must be fucking hot everywhere. Because, mate, if it's hot here, it's hot other places. Except if you're in Queensland, there's a cyclone. You're probably going surfing. So it's only in Australia.
Hopefully not.
Mate, did you not see the reel going around today? It's like only in Australia when there's cyclones around and like everyone. I was talking to one of the boys today. He's in the Sunshine Coast and he was out surfing this morning. He's like, mate, the surf's not been this good for so long. And like everyone's out in the surf at the moment. I was like, only in Australia. And that's not to take it away from anyone that's had any traumatic events from the cyclone, but there is some people that are enjoying the surf. But in saying that, guys, like you must have coaching, you must have accountability, and you must have people go, you know what, do a little bit less of this, do a little bit more of that, and that's what's going to push you through the plateau. So that's where coaching meets accountability. Actually having someone who's educated in what you're doing to give you the specific thing you must do that will push you through the thing that's holding you back, which is the weight loss plateau. The next thing is that holds people back is just doing random stuff, right? You know, it's like, you close your eyes, you throw the dart at the dartboard, and that's the workout you're doing today. Now, we want to make sure that we're training all of our muscles in a frequency that's going to promote lean muscle growth and it's also going to promote fat loss. So we don't want to do random stuff, guys. We want to do specific training. We want to have a program that's structured in a way that creates a progressive overload. So what that means is you have sets times reps times the weight you lift, which creates the volume you have in a workout, right? That's a little math equation for you. Now, if you're doing the same workout for 4 weeks, we want to increase the workout volume each week across those 4 weeks. That creates a higher stimulus or more stimulus against the muscle that you're trying to lift. So if you're doing 5 sets of 8 to 10 reps of bench press at 100 kilos, that means each set you're doing 10 reps of 100 kilos. What's that? It's a ton. So you're doing like 5 ton across your bench press. Now this week, next week, you're either going to go 105 kilos. So you're lifting more tonnage, or instead of the 10 reps, you're doing 11 reps. All right. And that also creates more volume across your chest, which creates that stimulus for growth. Now, if you're doing bench press this week and you're doing push-ups next week, and then you're doing like backflips the week after that, like you're not going to create the stimulus required for lean muscle growth. And I'm sure that everyone out there doesn't want to just become like small and weak. We want to try and become toned or lean and strong as we possibly can be. And we want to preserve muscle mass whilst we're dieting. So to preserve muscle mass and making sure that you don't lose weight, we want to do a structured program that has a progressive overload where you can focus on getting stronger and you have enough frequency, which means you're hitting the muscle group enough times across the week to preserve muscle and promote lean growth. Now, if you don't know how to do that, then it's probably a good thing to invest in someone who does know how to do that so you can do the right thing rather than the wrong thing. I don't close my eyes and think I know how to fix my car. Right? I go to a mechanic because I have no fucking idea and I get them to fix my car, right? Literally. Like some things I can do, a lot of things I can't. The things I can't, I pay the people who normally do it to do it for me, right? It's just the approach that I have at life. And I feel like if more people have that approach, they would also, have a car that works. Or if you're a mechanic, have a body that works, right? We are the mechanics of the body. So come to us if you need it fixed. And that's what we do. Non-randomized stuff. Structured approaches. And if you know how to do that, congrats and kudos to you. If you don't know how to do that, then find someone and follow it. Not the gym bro who was your mate from 33 years ago who told you eat chicken and broccoli and do this 5-day split that doesn't fit into your life as a dad. Like that, I used to do this thing back in the day. No, it's not back in the day. You're not 20. Okay? Let's leave that in the past and focus on something that you can do 3 times a week, fits inside your current constraints, so it stops the bullshit excuses of going, I don't have enough time. Everyone has 20 minutes, 28 minutes, 3 times a week. So let's find that inside your life. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think it's doing like there is a time and a place for, just doing something, as we've spoken about, like the power of just getting something done. And that's really good. Like I said, for the first, 2 to 4 weeks, just do fucking whatever gets you in the habit. And then there's a point where you need to stop just doing random shit. Because I don't know about you guys, but I feel super demotivated if I'm in the gym and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck am I going to do today? Like, oh, do I feel like arms are small, but no matter how many bicep curls I do, they don't fucking grow. I've got to do my back rehab stuff. It's like having something written down on paper that you're following, at least for like a couple of weeks, to just go, cool, all right, I'm going to do, I'm going to alternate. I'm going to do, even if it's as simple as I'm going to do some stuff with my dumbbells one day and then I'm going to do a run the next day. Having some form of structure, some form of a plan to your week and to what you're planning on doing is important. And a lot of people, they get caught up, isn't it about time we switched up the exercises? I get that question a lot with some of my guys. Isn't it about time we switch things up? Why? Why do we need to switch things up? Like, it's not, there's no novelty stimulus that's going to make you grow more. You're just doing different stuff for the sake of doing different stuff a lot of times. Most people need to do the same shit for like 6 to 8 weeks to really actually get that mind-muscle connection and that groove going. That you're not going to see what your max strength is if you haven't trained for a while or ever. You're not going to see what your max strength is for probably a good sort of 3 months of training the same exercise until you get to that point where it's cool. I can actually recruit all of the muscle fibers in my chest for this bench press. Now I actually know where I'm at for it. And you want to have the same movements because then you can grow in your muscle over that time. Otherwise, you just end up doing different stuff. It's like, all right, if I change from bench press to then dumbbell press, cool. Well, there's a subtle difference in how your body actually utilizes the muscles to do that. It's like, oh, it's just my chest, but it's different. And by doing random shit, you're never kind of getting in a groove. It's like, if you want to get better at running, you get better at running. You don't run differently. I'm going to run backwards this week just for fun. Fucking, you're going to run into a car. But you need to have some kind of structure. Yes, there is a time and a place for just getting something done and getting moving. And then once you get that rhythm, that's when you need to stop doing random shit and throwing it at the wall. It's when people are like, oh, I'm just going to join up the gym and I'll figure it out along the way. Like, that doesn't, having a plan lends itself to you actually sticking to what you're doing, right? So it goes hand in hand with actually taking action.
Yeah, I think doing stuff at the start, Jace, is what you're doing is you're creating action, you're creating habits. And once you've got habits, then we need structure within those habits. And I think that's the clear differentiation. It's like, doing something is better than nothing to form a habit. And it's like, okay, I need to do just enough so I get to the gym because I want the gym to be the habit. And now the gym is the habit. I need to make sure it's getting me the result that I want in a fast enough way, because you will hit a plateau doing randomized stuff. And you're like, what do I do now? I don't know, more random? Like, I don't know. Again, what we measure in life, we get to manage. Unless you're not measuring your volume you're lifting, we can't manage what you're going. Do we lift more volume or less volume? Do you need a deload week or don't you? I have no idea because I don't even know what you're doing. So I think for us, it's making sure we can measure the numbers, because everything is science-based, right? That's why we follow a calorie-based protocol, because we try and use science, because that's how we work in life. And that gives us a specific result. Now, the last thing, this is what holds probably 95% of the 96% of people back, and why they don't win long-term with weight loss, is they let their weekends ruin their progress. And it's like, man, I'm so good, like Monday through Thursday. But, Friday, I'm not bad, but I'm not good. I don't track my calories, have beers after work, then I have pizza on the way home, or I go out. It's date night. I gotta have date night with my wife, and date night is like a couple of bottles of wine. Then, next day we have some bacon eggs. We go out to a cafe. Maybe if you're a millionaire these days,
date night must be nice. We haven't. Me and my wife haven't had a date night for like 2 months.
Exactly. Me and my wife were joking about that the other day. Sometimes, especially where we live, right? It's like we've got to plan date nights out 3 months in advance. It's just it's the beauty of living rural. But you have to Airbnb a house in town, and it was like, I don't have time for that at the moment. We have our coffee dates. It's when we're looking at it, like, then I'll have KFC the day after I drink, and it's not a big thing. It's just a 3-piece feed and a zinger burger and large chips. But
I'm a big boy. I've always been a big boy. I've got a big appetite. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah, and you're like, no, but I've done so well all week. It's like, dude, 4 days of the week you did well. 3 days of the week, you didn't. So what you're saying is 34% of the time, or 36% of the time, whatever the exact math is, it's probably worse than that.
It's like 40%.
Yeah, 40%. There you go. So 40% of the time you're shit, but you want a result that's in line with being good 100% of the time. It's like, no, if you're not good 40% of the time, you're 100% not going to get results, right? Like in Sundays, you're going to have, if you're eating out, maybe have some fish and chips or whatever you have on Sundays, and you're going to start again on Monday, all right? Like that's what's ruining your progress. Your calorie deficit is over 7 days, guys. There is no such thing as a fucking cheat day. All the calories matter, right? All it does is it decreases your calorie deficit. Now,
talk to your wife about a cheat day in your relationship.
Exactly.
See how well that fucking goes down.
Exactly. I've been really faithful for 6 days. Come on, the 7th day, I just need to find a different vagina. I was like, no, you don't need that. We don't need it, right? We don't need to cheat on our diet or our wife. It's unnecessary. What you do need to do is you need to go, okay, well, I'm supposed to be hitting 2,000 calories a day just for my simplicity in maths. That means I need to hit 14,000 calories a week, right? Now, if I hit that Monday through Thursday, 2,000 calories a day, I need to hit that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If I have my extra beers and I have my pizza and I have my KFC zinger, and I'm probably going to start hitting 3,000 calories a day on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And all of a sudden, you went from a calorie deficit to a calorie surplus, which eradicated the whole deficit you've had for the week. Now, all of a sudden, you weigh in on Monday and you're the same weight you were the previous Monday. You're like, that's unfair. I did so well 4 days of the week. I even went for a walk on Saturday. It's like, yeah, but you ate like an asshole Friday through Sunday. So instead of treating this like a weekday job, this is your life. So let's start tracking the food. Just give me 4 weeks. How about you just don't go out, or maybe do go out and drink sodas, right? It's okay to drink a soda and not beer if you can't control how many beers you drink for the next 4 weeks. And maybe just try tracking on the weekends for 4 weeks. And, I was talking to one of my clients today and he switched from beer and bourbon to gin and soda water. And he's like, it tastes like shit. So the most I can drink is 4 of them and I have to stop drinking anyway. I was like,
gin's
mate,
terrible.
That's what he's like, gin and soda. I was like, mate, there's no way in hell I could drink more than 4 gin and sodas, me personally. So I'm like, there you go. That's his plan. So he doesn't drink more than 4 gins on the weekend because he thinks it tastes like shit, but he wants to be social. I was like, mate, that's okay. 4 drinks, that's in your calories, 240 calories, and he's got that in his day. So I'm not saying you can't drink. You can do it like that. But if you do have the ability to just have 2 or 3 beers, then have 2 or 3 beers. Track it. Track the food. Maybe make yourself a pizza that's at home. So when you get home after your couple of drinks, you just whack it in the oven and you made an at-home pizza that was like 500 or 600 calories instead of eating a 2,000 calorie Pizza Hut or Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like, eat healthy. Do well. You probably feel better the next day as well. Wake up. Cook yourself an omelette rather than going out for breakfast. You don't need the avocado and the eggs and the bacon and the sausage and the hash brown and the beans. Like you don't. You don't need 1,000 calories for breakfast. You're not running a marathon today. And if you were, you probably shouldn't eat that anyway because you'll vomit it up. But, you don't, it's not eating for eating's sake. It's eating to fuel your body for what you're doing today. And if what you're doing today is not anything crazy, then why are you having a crazy amount of calories? Because you're eating for what you want rather than what you need. So instead, eat for what you need for the next 4 weeks, track it all, and don't let your weekends ruin your progress, and you'll actually get long-term results. It's actually as simple as that.
No, completely agree. You have to understand how the long game is played. And the long game is played. It's the cumulative nature of all of these small wins. We call winning the day, right? It's what we teach our guys in the 14-day program. You talk about winning the day, having a couple of habits that you focus on that you do every day, and you try to win as many days as you can, and you just never miss twice. You never fuck up 2 days in a row. That's it. If you can do that, you will win. And do you know what the weekend is? It's 2 days in a row. Well, for most people, it's 3 days in a row. So if you can at least fuck up just one day, right? And then you get back on the next day and you're back and winning. 1 out of 7 is a lot better of a loss rate than 3 out of 7. It's still not great, but you've got to understand how easy it is to undo progress when you're looking at creating like 1,000 calorie deficit a day. A couple of days and like how easy it is to overeat food when you pick in the wrong stuff. Like handfuls of cashews, tablespoons of peanut butter, bacon and eggs, croissants, right? All this kind of stuff that you can have a couple of easily. Oh, and I'll have a glass of orange juice because that's good for your hangover. Yeah, it's a glass of pure sugar. Just wash it down. And then you're hungry again in an hour and you get a big fatty burger with chips. Like, all of this stuff adds up, and it's so easy to overeat. Then it is way easier to overeat and just blow out those calories if you're not smart about what you do. So keeping it in the lines at all time is not a part-time job. It's a lifestyle change. And I know a lot of guys struggle with the weekends because they lack structure, right? So what you've got to do is you've got to impose some structure on your weekends. You've got to choose to do things differently on the weekend. You've got to choose to go, cool, I know what I'm having for, I'm going to keep the same stuff that I take for lunch and for breakfasts for my, weekdays, and I'm going to do that on the weekends too. And then I win. Happy days, right? But you've got to make the commitment. First of all, like we go back to the start, you've got to make the commitment to the long vision here of you're wanting to change your life, right? You're not wanting to change your life when it's convenient. You're not wanting to change your life when it's easy. You're just wanting to change your life. You're just wanting to change your level of energy and vitality and your health and your vibrancy with your kids. That's what you fucking want. If that's not what you want, this probably isn't the place for you. But if that is what you want, then we're here to support you. You can head to fit-dad.club and you can book in a call. We'll help you get you where you are. If you want to join the 14-day challenge, shoot us a DM. We'll get you involved. We can get you started with, 14 days of mindset and meals and motive and movement and the training plan to help you just get started with things, as well as a couple of, breakfast and lunch options while leaving dinner, as we talked about. Leave dinner as free. You can have that whatever you want, as long as you don't eat like a complete child with your family. Eat what you want, but just manage your breakfasts and lunches, the easiest things to manage, and then go from there. We'll get you some easy training programs, get you some easy mindset wins to help you start focusing on the right shit and actually getting the result you want.
Exactly, mate. Like I was laughing because Gaz, Liv's dad, he's just turned 74. And he's like, he's got a half marathon coming up. We've got it in a couple of months. And kudos, like he wants to lose a couple of kilos so he can get his time. He wants to sort of crack around the 2 hours again and hold that, being 74 and still running half marathons, I tip my hat to him. But he's like, I want to lose 2 kilos. And he still runs, obviously. He does training. I coach him a couple of times a week. So he's doing the work. He's like, I'm doing so much. Like, what do I got to do? I was like, mate, you have 2 handfuls of nuts a day. You have at least 1 glass of apple juice a day, like, because he gets it from the one of the local guys. So it is healthy, but it's still apple juice. He has a cookie each day when he goes and gets his flat white or cappuccino. Sorry, he has like 2 cappuccinos a day and a cookie. I was like, mate, drop the nuts. That's like 300 calories. Drop the apple juice. That's 150 calories. All of a sudden, we're 500 calories down. And
2 very small changes that you wouldn't miss.
Yeah, and mate, do that. And you're going to be 3,500 calories down a week, right? Just by doing that. That's a kilo every 2 weeks you're going to lose just by making those 2 changes for the next couple of months. And you're going to be 3 kilos down and you'll change your life. And if we need to, then we can look further. We can look further down the rabbit hole and going, what else can we change? We could probably change your cappuccino to a long black just for the next month. And that in itself, that you have 2 of them a day, that's going to save you another like 1,400 calories a week. Right? So it's like, guys, there's hidden calories that you probably don't think about in the foods you're currently eating. And a lot of the time you might be thinking you're eating it healthy, but unless you have someone who's a coach and keeping you accountable that can highlight the somewhat imperfections to what you're doing at the moment because you're trying to achieve a result, that's what coaches do for you. So go to fit-dad.club, book in a call. We'll show you what you can change. That isn't it going to be a massive change to your life? Because I think that's the biggest thing. It's about sustainable success that you can do over the long term. Go to fit-dad.club, book in a call, we'll have a chat with you. Or DM us on Instagram and jump in on the 14-day challenge. That's free. Let us help change your life, because that's what we're on a mission to do this year, is change as many dads as possible. If not, show up to the next podcast next week, and make sure you refer this to a friend and leave us a review and a rating as well, guys.
Sweet. Sounds like a plan. Looking forward to chatting to you all soon.
Peace out, guys. See ya.
Peace out.